I love both of you all selections. Mine's slightly different. I will tell you. I'll go ahead and tell you. Growing up, the man who talked me into the building, I never got to see him live. I never got to see him at the Omni. I never got to see him at local shows or anything like that. But I understood him so much because my family, my household worshiped Thunderbolt Patterson. They worshiped that man. He was a superhero in our black household. You know what I'm saying? And it was one of these things where I learned more and more about Thunderbolt Patterson as a little kid because I had older cousins and aunts and uncles in my household, and that's all they talked about. Yes, Hogan was around. Yes, Ric Flair was around and Dusty was around, but it was Thunderbolt Patterson that our whole household was talking about. And looking back on it, because, growing up, of course, you're going to follow whatever your older cousins and everybody, if they love them, of course, I got to love them, right? I look back on these things and matches and promos and that sort of stuff. Thunderbolt was very ordinary looking. That's what I love about him. And that's honestly what talked me ultimately in the building, because I looked at Thunderbolt Patterson like he was one of my uncles, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
He looked like the tough guy in the family that if you had a problem, you would bring it to his attention. And he'll take care of it for you. But you better, for a fact, when he comes back in that house, he's going to be cutting up on you. He's going to be yelling at you saying, "What's wrong with you? Why can't you do this? I'll take care of it, but why can't you do it?" It was just that kind of feeling like he was a part of my family. And that's what I got from Thunderbolt Patterson. And one unique thing about his promo style, he reminded me of pastors growing up, like at the church or whatnot, because every Sunday I had to go to church no matter what with my grandmother. Rain, sleet, snow, or hell, if I was sick or fake sick more so, I would have to go to church. And it was times growing up where if the pastor starts to get into his cadence or whatnot, I'm thinking in my head, man, he sounds like Thunderbolt Patterson. so all of those influences just came together, and I just love that guy, man. And here's a clip of the great Thunderbolt Patterson.
Wrestling and you, baby, you were finished. You were washed up. You and Ole Anderson stood out here several months ago, baby, several weeks ago, whining and crying. You want to hit me, don't you? You want to hit me, don't you? Knock the chip off, baby. Come on, come on.
You got a problem.
Come on, baby.
But I will whoop your...
Oh, no, baby.
Hey, man.
You got
Not here, please.
Everything that you get, I will whoop you and eat you for dinner.
Hey, baby, you got the problem. And it's Jimmy Hart in the first
Mr. Hart, may I
and
suggest
you
you
me
leave,
out here.
sir?
I've got the family watching behind the door, baby.
No,
I suggest you leave,
you
Mr.
are
Hart.
finished. You are through, baby.
People like you
are through, baby.
has problems.
Oh, brother, he does have a problem.
This is a new day. I've been through mess like that from... I'm so full because it all started here. Now he's running up to New York. Now, we talk about New York. You know what that's all about.
Mm-hmm.
Well, ain't nobody. You hear what I say? Ain't nobody gonna do a...
Yep, careful.
And I'm full. And whoever you get, you say I've been out a long time. Well, all you got to do is get in the cycle, because I will whoop your...
Yep. Yep, I think I know where he's coming from.
I am full, Gordon, and I hate to be like this.
And I'm full. That's all I remember from it. Because funny thing about Thunderbolt Patterson, it always seemed like he would be the one cussing, but because he's on national TV, he wouldn't call you an MF, or he would say, and he'll do all these facial reactions, and or Like that just reminded me of like aunts and uncles cutting up or whatever, and somebody, oh you mother, like he would do that.
To me, that makes him even more relatable.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Because the way he would censor himself, as opposed to like later on in life, they'd be like, "I'll kick your butt." Oh, come on, dude.
Right.
You know what you want to say, but he's censoring himself. Like just watching that right there, I felt it. I feel that being around your kids or something, you're like, oh,
Right.
and that's how I got out of him. So yeah, he was connected with me just then.
Yeah. Yeah.
It makes me think, and it reminds me like how much family plays a role in what influences us, right? And the fact that your family had the foresight, or maybe just, just the wherewithal to say, this is our guy. We're going to stand behind this guy. And I know, we brought in conversation, representation mattering and being a part of it. And this is a great example of it, right? Where, this is not something that was commonplace. And the fact that they were saying, no, this is who you were going to get behind. And you were with it because you saw your family in him. You saw that envisioned in him. And I think that's really cool because it's powerful. It's powerful the way that not just as fans, but as the kind of people we become.
Definitely. Like my grandmother loved Thunderbolt Patterson. Like you couldn't tell her anything other than Thunderbolt. She loved Dusty also. I will say that. But she loved Thunderbolt Patterson. And today's wrestler that I could say gives me that same kind of vibe of like someone in the family and someone who's tough but relatable is Big E. For me, it was always Big E. Like he, I know a lot of people would make fun of his pastor promos. He used to, it always seemed like a Southern pastor or something, but it was relatable and it reminded me of when Thunderbolt Patterson, when he got revved up, he would start preaching to you and preaching to the people. Come on out, come down this Saturday. I'm taking care of this. Don't worry about it. So I will forever be appreciative of Thunderbolt Patterson. I'm definitely appreciative of my family, like raising me to enjoy his work because growing up, I never got a chance to personally see him. So Thunderbolt Patterson's always been a part of my heart for sure.
So I gotta add one quick thing. Not so much, but watching those clips, all three. How great was Gordon? How awesome was Gordon Soley?
Yeah.
And what I mean is because it was kind of like a sandwich, right? How Gordon added to that promo. He added to the Ole Anderson promo, and then you see the more modern stand in the ring and do it yourself. It was very interesting. All three are great, but Gordon was like that glue, and it was kind of like you don't necessarily need that glue today like that, right?
Yeah.
There are different types of promos or a different type of storytelling, but back then, like a Gordon or a Lance Russell or those guys just kind of
Lance
helped.
is one of my favorites. I love Lance.
Yeah, but they connected it, and then they brought emotion too. And so I think there's another element that sometimes goes overlooked, and we saw it it was just jumping out at me.
And to your point, Greg, when they know when to lay back, they know when to ask that follow up, and it's a super underrated skill. Absolutely.
It is, but I think the other part is they know when to lay back. But now, later on it becomes a little bit more scripted, and I get it. It's the evolution. It is what it is. They were also the ones who, if they see you stumbling, knew how to jump in. And I saw some of these clips over I saw some of the Thunderbolt ones, I saw some of the Ole ones, and the other ones where they would jump in because these guys aren't as comfortable, right, at certain times. And they kind of made that quick connection to keep it moving. And that was a skill. I mean, that was just so cool to see how they involved themselves. But to your point, they know how to pull back.
Perfect bridge. They were perfect vehicles to keep it going. Mean Gene was great at that also. I love seeing Mean Gene. If you haven't already, like, comment, subscribe, and of course look us up on socials at SuplexDinnerClub. And be sure to check out our other projects. We talk college football on Dogs versus All Y'all. That's a weekly college football podcast where we don't just talk about the Georgia Bulldogs. We talk about all things college football. the Life and Times Pod, which is short for the Life and Times of a Restaurant Lifer podcast, where I have some chill conversations with some cool and interesting people that I've met in my years in the hospitality industry. And of course, check out Talk 'em in the Building. That's a pro wrestling podcast where we solely focus on the promo. We talk about the talkers, we hype the hype man, and we pontificate on the promo. It's a fun project, and if you're a pro wrestling fan, I'm sure you're going to enjoy it. If you're into TV and movie reviews, check out Four Corners Cinema with Ari and Adrian, a podcast where two lifelong pro wrestling fans review film and other forms of media that just so happen to have some of our favorite pro wrestlers. The Suplex Dinner Club family is growing, and I would love for you to be a part of it.